I'm Declan Traynor, and you're very welcome to episode 3 of the Virginia Roundup. And you're very welcome to the podcast this month. If it's your first time joining, well, let me tell you that the Virginia Roundup is a monthly podcast which highlights community and charity organisations and sports clubs in and around Virginia, and we also promote upcoming community and charity events as well. If you want to get in touch with us, our email address is thevirginiaroundup@gmail.com, or you can send us a voice note to speakpipe.com/The Virginia Roundup, and you'll find us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Virginia Roundup. Now, last month we spoke to Maeve Hogan, who's the Chief Executive of the Property Services Regulatory Authority, who licence and regulate auctioneers, estate agents, letting agents and property management agents. Maeve was offering guidance and advice for students seeking accommodation for the coming college year. And now a number of people spoke to me since the last podcast and mentioned that they were unaware that there was a regulator for estate agents and auctioneers, etc. And also, given the amount of coverage in the media over the last number of weeks in relation to student accommodation and indeed the search and the difficulties encountered by students, we thought we might recap on some of the points that Maeve made on her interview with us last month. She started by telling us who the Property Services Regulatory Authority are.
Yes, the PSRA it's a statutory body. We're a decentralised office to Navan, so just over the border there from Virginia. We are a statutory body with responsibility for improving standards of estate agents, letting agents, management agents and auctioneers. And on the other side also we have a remit in relation to consumer protection. So the property services include the sales and lettings of houses and property. So also an auctioneer or an estate agent must be licensed by the authority. So on an annual basis, agents must renew their licence. We also have a remit in dealing with complaints about estate agents. So we, on average, get around 250 complaints a year. We have a role in auditing those businesses. So on every couple of years or so, we go out and about and we audit businesses. But from a consumer protection perspective also, we manage a compensation fund. So in the event that your licensed estate agent or auctioneer, for whatever reason, acts dishonestly, there is a compensation fund there to compensate you for your loss. So we have a wide remit in relation to the provision of property services across the country. Annually, it is that time of year, as you outlined at the start there, that students start very early looking for accommodation. As we all know, property is scarce, and particularly student accommodation probably more difficult to acquire. So the search, I would imagine, begins once the leaving cert is over. The search begins for that coveted accommodation close to the university, for the hopeful students that hope they get a place in the local universities and colleges. Sadly, people are fraudulently out there looking for soft targets in relation to defrauding people of their money. We do run media campaigns. We run both radio and social media campaigns advising students of the pitfalls in relation to avoid in relation to seeking accommodation. Again, the old adage, if something is too good to be true, it should be a red flag. Check out if it's an agent that's advertising the property, check our publicly available register of licensees at PSRA.ie. Every licensed agent is listed on that register, and the details of their licence, their name and the expiry date of their licence is available there. So that's the first due diligence maybe they might look for. If it's unclear if it's a letting agent and somebody advertising the property, if it's no viewings are allowed, if they want it's all a cash deal. Mm-hmm. Now, there's nothing wrong with cash, but it's just to be alert that if they are looking for cash only, is there something behind that? And again, the students should do their due diligence. If they do go and view a property, ask a flood of questions of the person letting the property. Where's the local gym? Where's the local bus stop? Mm-hmm. Where's the local train station? If they're the owner of the property and they understand the area and they've lived in the area and know the area well, they should be very easily able to answer those questions. And if they hesitate, just to be aware that they're not as knowledgeable of the area as you think they should be if they own the property. So and also, bring along somebody who has a bit of experience, be it a parent, a guardian, along with you to view the property, so that there's maybe two of you there looking at the property and asking questions. Each of those licensed agents carry a license card with their picture on it and their name and expiry date of their license card, and asked to see that license card if they're a licensed agent, a letting agent that's letting the property. Asked to see that card. They won't be offended. It's part of their statutory remit when they become licensed by us that they must carry that license card with them when they're viewing properties. So you know that student that goes to view a property can ask to see that license card. Certainly they won't be offended, and they are expected to show that license card once requested. And we do welcome any notification to ourselves about unlicensed trading, because we have a zero tolerance for unlicensed trading. So if the public out there come across an unlicensed agent, we want to hear about it through, if they could contact the PSRA at info@psr.ie, finding the details there, we will take it from there.
A quick recap there on some of the advice given on last month's Virginia Roundup by Maeve Hogan, Chief Executive of the Property Services Regulatory Authority, for those students seeking accommodation for the coming college year, and indeed advice which is also relevant to anyone who might be dealing with an auctioneer, estate agent, letting agent or property management agent. Okay, it's time now for our usual monthly spot with Gary Brazil from Age Defy Fitness.
Hello everyone, I'm Gary Brazil, owner of Gary Brazil Age Defy Fitness and a personal trainer at SG Elite Gym and Cross. In my last podcast I talked about calories, how your body burns them even when you're sitting on the couch watching TV, how to figure out your daily calorie needs and how to create a calorie deficit without starving yourself or living off lettuce leaves. Today I want to add another piece of that fat loss puzzle. It's something simple, so obvious, but it's massively overlooked, and that's walking. Now I know some of you are thinking, walking? Really, Gary, that's it? I tuned in hoping for a magic secret for weight loss and you're telling me to do what my granny does on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah, that's it. Walking is one of the most underrated tools for losing weight and keeping off. Here's the thing, a lot of people think weight loss is all about smashing yourself in the gym, crawling out of spin classes, dripping in sweat, or doing some mad 6-week intensive boot camp. The truth is, weight loss is about burning more calories than you eat. It's simple maths, and walking burns calories. Not as much as sprinting or high intensity training, definitely. But here's the difference, you can walk every day. You don't need 2 days to recover from a walk. Nobody's ever said, Jesus, I did a 5k walk yesterday and my hamstrings are in bits. Walking is low impact. You can do a lot of it, and it doesn't really feel like exercise. That's why it works. It's sneaky calorie burning without all the drama. So how many calories would you burn when you go out walking? On average, you burn about 50 to 70 calories per kilometre of walking, or roughly 100 calories per mile. So say, for instance, you're a 90 kilogram man. If you walk briskly for an hour, you'll burn around 300 to 350 calories. Now, you do that every single day, and you're looking at around 2,000 calories a week. That's just over half a pound in weight loss, just from walking. No gym membership required. And that's on top of the calories you're already burning by existing. So if you're eating a calorie deficit and you're walking daily, you're basically turbocharging your results without having to starve or punish yourself. Now, let's talk about the 10,000 steps. You've probably seen this all over social media. It's talked about a lot. And I'm sure you're wondering, why is it 10,000 steps? Why do they keep talking about that? Well, did you know that didn't come from some big scientific study? It was actually a Japanese marketing campaign in the 1960s. They brought out a pedometer called the Manpo Kai, which means 10,000 step meter. It's a catchy number, stuck in people's heads and suddenly became gospel. But here's the funny thing, it does work. 10,000 steps is about 7 to 8 kilometres of walking. And for most people, that's about 400 to 500 calories burnt in a day. Now, you hit that consistently and you're making serious progress. Now, do you need to do 10,000 steps? Not necessarily, especially if you don't do a lot of walking to begin with. You're currently maybe only doing 2,000 or 3,000 steps. Then you hitting 6,000 to 7,000 is already a massive improvement. So don't let perfect be the enemy of progress. Start where you are and build up. But use that 10k as a great benchmark. It gives you something to aim for. Now let's talk about the health fit benefits of walking beyond the fat loss. Here's the bit I love. It's not just about burning calories when you walk. Walking lowers stress. And let's be real, half the reason people overeat, it's not because they're hungry. It's because they're stressed, anxious, or just bored stiff. Walking clears your head. It's like a free therapy. Improves sleep, lowers blood pressure, boosts your mood, helps your joints, improves digestion and circulation. Basically, it makes you feel younger, more alive, and less like you've been run over by life. And the best bit, it doesn't feel intimidating. Nobody dreads going for a walk. Now, unless it's torrential rain outside and hurricane force winds, but in general, we don't dread going for a walk. You don't need special shoes. You don't need a fancy outfit. You don't need a 200 quid gym membership. Just stick on a pair of runners and off you go. You can walk with your dog, your kids, your partner, wherever. Or you can just stick in your earphones, listen to a podcast like this and get some peace from that madness of life. Now we're going to talk about how walking supercharges your calorie deficit. Here's where it all ties together. So obviously in the last podcast I talked about going into a calorie deficit. We talked about TDEE, the amount of calories you burn in a day. So what we talked about last time was an average, say, for somebody who has a TDE of 2,600 in order to go into a calorie deficit. We looked at putting that person on a 2,100 calorie a day. So that was a 500 calorie deficit. But what if you also walk for an hour every day? That's another 300 calories burned. Suddenly you're losing weight faster, or better yet, you can maybe eat a little bit more food while still losing weight. So instead of the 2,600 calories down to 2,100, maybe reduce it around to 2,250 because you're walking and you're burning the calories there. The walking gives you wiggle room. So instead of cutting out your Saturday night pints or that bit of chocolate in the evening, you can still fit it in because your walk has brought you the calories back. Now that's a trade I'd take any day. Now, I'm not that walking the walk, pardon the pun. I've lived this. I was very overweight around lockdown. I put on a serious amount of weight. And when lockdown ended, I knew I had to get back into shape. And I lost 3 stone in 9 months. And walking was a big tool in that weight loss that I made. I was in the calorie deficit, yes. I paid attention to what I ate. I cut back on the rubbish food. I did go to the gym and done weight training sessions and I made smarter choices. But walking made a huge difference. I made sure I hit my steps every single day. Sometimes that meant early morning walks before work. Other times it was grabbing 20 minutes in the evening or on my lunch break just to clear my head and tick off them steps. And here's the truth. Wasn't glamorous. Nobody applauds you for walking around where you live in the rain, but it works. Over time, those steps stacked up. The calories burned added up and the weight came off. Not only that, walking helped me and gave me a chance to de-stress, to breathe, to just get out of my own head. It helped me stick to the calorie deficit because I didn't feel so pent up or restricted. So when I tell you walking works, I'm not preaching from a textbook. I've lived it. So let's talk about some practical steps to get the steps in. First, track it. So if you have a smartwatch, you don't necessarily need one. Even your phone. Every phones have health meters on them now, so it records the amount of steps you do. Wherever you can use just to track what steps you're doing. Don't worry about doing one big walk. If you can, great. But if you can't, that's fine. 3 15-minute walks are just as good as one 45-minute one. Walk after meals. Not only does it help with digestion, but it also helps keep your blood sugar steady. And sneak some steps in. Park further away from where you work. Park further away maybe from where you do your food shopping. If you get a call, go out walk. Maybe walk around the house while you're on the call. Go out with a friend. Turn it into a social event when you go out walking. And here's my favourite. Swap scrolling on social media for strolling. You'll feel 10 times better afterwards. So there you have it. Walking. It's not sexy. Won't get you a 6-pack overnight, but it's powerful. It's sustainable and it's free. Combine it with eating a little less, then you burn the calorie deficit and you've got yourself a fat loss formula that actually works in the real world. Remember, it's not about smashing yourself for 6 weeks and then giving up. It's about building these habits that you can stick to. And walking is one of the easiest, most effective habits you'll ever create. I'm Gary Brazil from Age Defy Fitness. Thanks for tuning in. Keep moving and I'll catch you on the next edition of the Virginia Roundup.
Many thanks for that, Gary. And Gary will be back with us next month here on the Virginia Roundup. And let me tell you that Gary is launching his brand new 12-week fitness reboot starting on September 22nd. It's designed for busy men and women who want to lose weight, build strength and boost energy before the end of the year. The program gives you everything you need: tailored workouts, nutrition guidance, weekly check-ins and full accountability, all delivered online so you can do it from anywhere. So if you've been struggling to stay consistent, this is your chance to finish 2025 fitter, stronger and more confident. To find out more, you can contact Gary directly on 086 052 8163 or email adfireland@gmail.com.
You can listen to all of the previous episodes of the Virginia Roundup wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Audible, and at thevirginiaroundup.podbean.com.
The Virginia Roundup.
Okay, it's time to find out what's happening in and around Virginia. It's time for the Community Noticeboard. Neurogarden is a group which meets once monthly in the Virginia Library for neurodiverse people who are over the age of 18. Its aim is to connect young adults in a social setting to form new friendships and fulfill a service that is desperately needed for those who are neurodiverse and feel isolated from their community. They meet on the first Thursday of the month from 6 to 8 p.m. in Virginia Library, and for more details you can call or message 087 706 0205. The Rural Hub are running a course called Everyday Technology Skills, Everyday Tech Made Easy. Get confident with your smartphone or tablet. Join their 10-week course at the Rural Hub in Virginia every Tuesday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, starting on the 30th of September. Bring your smartphone or tablet and learn in a relaxed, supportive environment. Don't let your smartphone outsmart you. You can register now by calling 085 8627 260 or email rachel@fipl.ie. And are you working with young people or parents and looking for fresh insights, practical tools and real support? Well, Future in Perspective have two powerful events coming up that you won't want to miss. Mindset Tackling Gaming Disorder takes place on Wednesday the 17th of September at 2 p.m. online via Zoom. Gaming addiction is real and rising. Join us for a free online event exploring behavioural addiction in young people, featuring Elaine Smith, who's a youth worker, and Liam O'Grady, an addiction counsellor. Register now, it's free via Eventbrite. The second event is Recharge and Refocus, Building Resilience in Youth Services on Thursday the 18th of September from 3 to 5 p.m. at Cavan Town Hall. Fitting the pressure, this in-person workshop is your chance to reset and refocus. Led by Patricia Crimmin, wellbeing coach, yoga therapist and former mental health nurse, it's perfect for youth workers, educators, parents, support professionals and young people too. Don't miss this chance to grow your skills, boost your wellbeing and connect with others who care. And again, you can register free on Eventbrite. Are you working in healthcare and passionate about creating more inclusive, equitable care? Well, join us on Zoom on September 23rd at 12 noon till 2 p.m. for a free professional training that will equip you to become an inclusion facilitator in your workplace. Training covers 3 core modules, which are global competence, inclusion and diversity in practice. This is open to anyone working in any area of the healthcare sector. Take the next step in your professional journey, become a trained inclusion facilitator and help shape a more inclusive future in healthcare. And for more details on any of these courses, check out the Rural Hub and Future in Perspective on Facebook. Deer Park Forest Park Run, Virginia is a free, fun and friendly weekly 5k community event. You can walk, jog, run, volunteer or spectate. It's up to you. Every Saturday morning at 9:30 p.m. the event takes place at Deer Park Forest, the entrance beside Virginia Rugby Club off the R194. It's free, but please register before you come along for the first time and don't forget to bring a scannable copy of your barcode. It's entirely organised by volunteers, and if you'd like to volunteer or help, you can email deerparkforest@parkrun.com. Smash hit Irish comedian, best-selling author, podcast host and viral online star Emma Doran hits the road again, taking her brand new stand-up show Immaculate across the UK and Ireland in 2025 and 2026. And she'll be appearing at the Ramar Arts Centre on Thursday, the 25th of September. Join us as we celebrate 45 years of the Blues Brothers movie with the Ultimate Blues Tribute Show. Join Jake and Elwood for a high-energy night of icon hits, soulful melodies and unmatched entertainment. That's in the Ramar Arts Centre on Saturday, the 27th of September. And The Land of 100 Little Hills takes place on Monday, the 29th of September. Inspired by Patrick Kavanagh's A Christmas Childhood poem, this is a touching story about a boy whose life was full of wonder, fantastical adventures with his friends, and a deep connection with nature and the world around him. However, after growing up and moving away from home, he somehow lost his wonder along the way. That's Monday 29th at 10 a.m. and 12 noon. Michael Harding's father had a profound effect on his life. In 2023, Michael walked the Camino de Santiago and wrote a volume of memoir entitled I Loved Him from the Day He Died. Join Michael as he brings to life the Camino Walk and the father who shaped his life. Following a sold-out tour to regional venues in the spring of 2025, Michael has added a small number of dates, including his visit to Ramar Arts Centre on Friday, the 3rd of October. Virginia Library hosts a number of regular events weekly. On Thursdays from 2:15 to 5 p.m, there's the Sensory Toy Family Sessions. On Fridays 3:30 to 4:30, it's Lego Free Play. On Saturdays 11:30 a.m. to 12:15 p.m, Saturday Story Time. As well as Wednesdays 12:45 a.m. to 12:45 p.m, Drop-In Barrowbox Clinic. And Saturdays 11 a.m. to 12:45 p.m, it's the Craft Club. Fortnightly on Fridays from 11:30am to 12pm, it's Rhyme Time, and on Thursdays from 10:30am to 12:30pm, it's the Savvy Scrabble Club. And you can find out about additional autumn events and initiatives at Virginia Library by visiting www.cavanlibrary.ie or facebook.com/events. And if you are involved in a community or charity organisation, or you have an upcoming event which you'd like publicised on the Community Noticeboard here on the Virginia Roundup, you can email details along with your contact details to the Virginia Roundup at gmail.com. And the Community Noticeboard is a free service. And that is it from this month's episode of the Virginia Roundup. Please like, subscribe, share and spread the word about the Virginia Roundup with your family and friends. And don't forget, if you'd like to get in contact with us about anything at all, or if you have any suggestions on topics you'd like covered on the Virginia Roundup, you can email the Virginia Roundup at gmail.com. You can send us a private message on Facebook. It's facebook.com/the Virginia Roundup, or you can send us a voice note on speakpipe.com/the Virginia Roundup. So, until the 15th of October, this is Declan Traynor saying bye-bye for now.